Welcome. We start this bulletin with our big story. The final clinical trials for the coronavirus vaccine developed by AstraZeneca and Oxford University have been put on hold after a suspected adverse reaction was seen in a participant in the study. Now, the world is closely watching the vaccine trials. Researchers are conducting trials in the United States and the United Kingdom, Brazil and South Africa. Meanwhile, the abrupt halt has been described by AstraZeneca as a routine pause in the case of an unexplained illness. The AstraZeneca Oxford University vaccine is a strong contender among dozens being developed globally. There are almost 30,000 people participating in the trial. The vaccine had been expected to be publicly available as early as January of 2021. Now, this is the second time that the Oxford coronavirus vaccine trial has been put on hold. However, it may resume in the coming few days. But with the delay in the trial, according to the drug maker's chief, AstraZeneca's will still know if the vaccine protects people against COVID before the end of the year.
Because if a vaccine works, we will know that in the next few months. The next question will be for how long? Are you protected for 3 months, which is useful but not very useful, of course? Are you protected for 12 months? Are you protected for 2 years or more? And this answer will only come as the trials continue. It will take time to give this final answer. Now, as to the first question, which is, does it protect people, at least for a period of time? We should know that before the end of the year. It's very common, actually, and many experts will tell you this. The difference with other vaccines trials is the whole world is not watching them, of course. So they stop the study and they restart.
Sarita also mentioned that pausing of vaccine trials is actually very common. Meanwhile, India's central drug regulator has issued a show cause notice to the Serum Institute of India for not halting the clinical trial of AstraZeneca's COVID vaccine candidate, despite it being halted in other countries. As per the World Health Organization, nearly 180 vaccine candidates are being tested around the world, but none has yet completed the clinical trial successfully. Now we are bringing you all the latest on the suspension of AstraZeneca Oxford University COVID-19 vaccine trial. This trial has been halted after one candidate has experienced some unseen results from the test. So they have stopped the trial for now, where the trial has been halted. It's been suspended after this participant developed some serious illness. We do not have the details of that illness as yet. However, the drug maker is yet to specify this illness, but says that it is normal to halt a trial of this nature. Researchers are conducting trials in the United States, the United Kingdom, Brazil, and South Africa. Now, joining us live for more on this, Professor Amos Panett, who is a virologist at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Good evening and thank you for being with us. Now, the suspension of AstraZeneca Oxford University vaccine trial has raised many questions, one of which, of course, is the urgency of creating a vaccine leading to the lowering of safety standards?
No, it's not really a worry now. Because if you do an experiment with 30,000 people, you are likely to get some events. Some of them may not be related at all to the vaccine, just 30,000 people. So one person get ill, whether he is in a control study or the vaccine study. So I don't think that it will hamper the development of the vaccine, of the Oxford vaccine. I think that from our previous knowledge, this type of vaccines are pretty safe.
Right. As you've said, it's one person out of a trial sample of 30,000 candidates. Is this kind of a halt of a medical trial normal? And then what happens now? Do we know how long the suspension will be for?
From what I know, they will very quickly, within a week, will determine exactly what happened in the trial and will resume it. So it may delay it by 1 week, at the most 2 weeks, but nothing serious. It got a lot of headlines, because of the sensitivity and the interest of people in vaccines, in COVID-19 vaccine. But, in other vaccines, it's pretty simple and pretty common to have such events.
Absolutely, Prof. And they were hoping that this vaccine would be ready as early as January of 2021. With this kind of setback, in your opinion, when would it be likely to be ready?
I believe that the vaccines, whether it's this vaccine or the United States vaccines, will be ready for use in January, February, but we don't know yet whether they will be effective. So that's a crucial point now. They will be ready, but whether they will approve for general use, we don't know yet. We have to see the results of the phase 3 trial. So the main problem now, the main issue now, is showing that in large groups of people, the vaccine protects from COVID-19.
Professor Panner, thank you very much for joining us for all the latest there. Now, the suspension of AstraZeneca Oxford University COVID vaccine trial has raised many questions on the vaccine deadline and safety. Now, first, let's tell you why the trial has been halted. The trial was suspended after a participant developed serious illness. However, the drug maker is yet to specify the nature of this illness. Now, so does that mean that the trial will be scrapped? This is just a temporary halt, and the trial will resume after a probe into the participant's illness. In fact, suspension of vaccine trials is not unusual. However, the halt may push the vaccine deadline. Now, the drug maker has been targeting early next year for making its vaccine available. So how has AstraZeneca trial in India been impacted? Currently, there is no clarity on the status of the trial in India. However, the vaccine trial in India is unlikely to be affected. Over 100 participants have already been vaccinated in initial trials in the country. So what are the larger implications of the trial suspension? Now, this incident has exposed uncertainties in vaccine development. It also shows that quality may be compromised in a vaccine race.